Namaste. Welcome to Global Perspectives. In today's episode of Global Perspectives, we will be in a conversation with Thomas Winther. He is the chairman of the Association of Danish Music and Culture Schools. Keld Hosbond. He is the acting principal of the Royal Academy of Music in Denmark. Peder Dahlgaard. He is an actor and the Vice-Rector of the Danish National School of Performing Arts. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you tell us something about the Glomus camp?
Yes, the Glomus network is a network consisting of more than 30 institutions from countries all over the world. And the Glomus camp is the key activity in the Glomus network. And it has been traveling from different countries. And now the next camp will be in Nepal in 2024, in 1 year from now.
Could you tell us something more about the objectives and vision of the Glomus camp?
Yes, the main objective of the Glomus network is to get students and teachers from art education together from all over the world to experience the beautiful diversity of cultures in the world and to empower them to use their talent to go out in the world and make a positive change in the world.
Each Glomus camp has a theme. Could you tell us something about how these themes are selected?
Do you want to say something about that, Thomas?
The theme always touches on things that are current affairs, and so it's about what is going on in the academic world and in the arts world. It's about also what is happening in the political world. So we talk a lot about sustainability. We talk a lot about development, equality, and all these questions that are very upfront in the current debate.
Equality and sustainability are two of the things that also aligns with UN Sustainable Development Goals. How do these align with your personal values?
Well, I think it's important to say that we are working as art educations and leaders of art educations and are trying to influence our students that we cannot only talk about art. We need to have some kind of context. And the context is always the world around us. So we have some kind of, as an artist, you have some kind of an ethical responsibility to use your art also to promote things like equality and sustainability and stuff like that. So in that way, we try to have some kind of an ethical way of looking upon arts.
The Glomus camps brings together people from different cultures, different backgrounds, different countries. What are the challenges that you face?
There's a language challenge, of course, always. We have a lot of English-speaking students and teachers, but there are also people who speak French or speak only their own native language, Chinese, whatever, So that is one of the main challenges. But we see it not only as a challenge, but also as a possibility, again, to learn from each other, to learn from each other's cultures, to learn from and to share. So not only do you come into the Glomus camp receiving, you're also there to give. So the challenges is also it has a positive note to it, actually.
As you've been a part of the Glomus camp for a very long time and you've seen it evolve over time, what are the major milestones?
Well, I would say in the beginning, we started out 15 years ago, and in the beginning it was only music as an art form, but we developed broader perspective, including dance, drama, and also in the next camp it will be film also. So we have a more cross-disciplinary approach now across different art forms. And this thing about engaging with society is becoming a really big thing. We cannot do art without acknowledging that the world around us is extremely important to relate to.
This has also got to do with relevance. Art has to be relevant to the society that art exists in. Mm-hmm. And of course, the artistic expression in itself is meaningful and important, but it's also important to engage and exchange with the surrounding society in order to keep relevance for the audience, for the public. And for politicians.
Can you share with us a moment that exemplifies the intercultural exchange that Glomus focuses on?
The whole idea of Glomus is actually moments of meaningful interaction between cultures and art forms. The last camp we had was actually in Aarhus, in Denmark. So we had something called Global Dialogues. And in the Global Dialogue, we are debating issues that Thomas was talking about just before. And we had this opportunity also to talk to the students about their expectations, their experiences of the Glomus camps. So we had a very touching moment where a student from Indonesia was telling about that he always had this urge to practice his instrument. And now suddenly he realized that this is also about context. It's about what he is doing with his instrument in regards to the world around him. And he was personally very touched by that, by being together with people with different approaches to that.
It's about making friends, and it's about opening one's mind to other cultures, other ways of practicing your art. I have an example with a Finnish viola player. The viola is a sort of a big violin, and he was a classically Western music trained viola player, and that's what he had been doing since he was maybe 5 years old or 6 years old, because it takes a lot of time to learn to play these instruments. So he was very focused and very, I wouldn't say narrow-minded, but very focused on exactly what he was doing, because it takes that amount of concentration and focus to do that. And when he came to the Glomus camp and experienced African drumming or Indonesian gamelan or all sorts of Arab music cultures, his mind in a way exploded. Suddenly he saw the world in a completely different context and in a completely different way, and really realized and understood that music making are so many different things and so many ways of expressing yourself. And that was, for me personally, a very, very touching moment when he described that.
I can add to that I also had a conversation with a student after a camp, and he was also saying, this is the way the world should be. This spirit of togetherness and open-mindedness and the beauty of all the cultures of the world coming together. This is how the world should be. This is not so difficult. When you meet from different cultures, you open up your mind. And if you're willing and open, you'll experience some very rich cultures.
In a way, it's as simple as if you play together, if you sing together, if you dance together, if you make performing arts together, you don't kill each other.
Could you tell us something about the role of partner organizations when it comes to organizing Glomus camps?
Yes, of course, it's a big task for an organization to organize such a big event. So there has to be a network around the organization for each camp, and the setup is designed for that particular country that it takes place in. And sometimes we have a transition from the previous camp to the next camp, and the reason why we are 3 people from Denmark is that we made the last camp in Denmark in Europe, and now we are handing over to Nepal. So we are here to assist with creating the next camp in Nepal. So there's an international network, there's an international advisory board consisting of people from all the partner institutions who they are assisting the organizing partner in creating the camp. And there's also some local partners in Nepal who will support Nepal Music Center for creating this big event that will take place.
It's a huge logistic and organizational challenge to do these events. It's 12 days, 10 days of camp, but an arrival day and a departure day. It's up to 200 people coming in with all their needs of catering and lodging and whatever. So it's a very big organizational task as well.
How does the values of Glomus align with your personal values?
Because of course this aligns with the 3 of us in our personal values. My personal values is about, art as co-creating expressions. And I am an actor, so I am used to working in different contexts. But my main focus with students is about being able to co-create whatever we want to tell the world. So this is not about hierarchies or structures. This is about how to co-create on an equal basis. Even if you are a director or an actor or a musician or anything, this is about what do we want to tell the world. So in that way, Glomus, that in a way is a network that wants to tell the world that there could be an alternative to what we are used to surround with.
Could you tell us something about what's on the horizon for Glomus?
Well, of course, the main activities in the Glomus network are the camps taking place every second year. So there will be another camp in after the camp in Nepal. But in between, we also have a lot of different bilateral events taking place.
Right.
Just to give one example, in Denmark and Mali in West Africa have a close collaboration. So we have exchanges of students and staff and all kinds of projects. And we also have an online community where we can share our cultures to each other. This is something that we want to elaborate on and use, because it's getting more and more easy to work online through the internet. And this is something that we're going to talk about in the next camp as well.
The thing is that in that respect, the Glomus is also exemplary of the co-creation that you're talking about. There is not a formal leadership structure. The decisions are made by the ones who show up. So we actually, for example, the next camp will not be decided where that would take place until the end of the camp in Nepal. Mm-hmm. And that will be made in some sort of unity, and we'll see how. So Glomus is not only about the development of each individual student and artists. It's actually also about the development of institutions and organizations working in a different way together than having the head, and then you have some people down here and blah blah, and all these down here, they do all the work, and so we try to work in an exemplary way, in a different way.
Since the goals and visions of Glomus are connected to those of UN SDG, can you tell us about an initiative that directly impacts those goals?
Maybe I could say that this is, as Keld was talking about, this also affects the institutions in the Glomus network in a way that we start having partnerships on a bilateral basis. So this affects the way we structure the curriculum as well, because we have students that now doesn't want to go for in the School of Performing Arts, which I am from. Mm-hmm. The students usually go to theaters to in internships, and certainly some of them want to go to the school in Ghana, for instance. And we're trying to make these partnerships as well, so that Glomus is not only about the camps every second year, but also about giving the students opportunities to experience different ways of working with art education in the world.
We can call it a student-centric learning process.
Right.
Actually, I would rather use the term human-centered, because we want to put each individual in the center, whether it's students or teachers or leaders. And this is, I think we're talking about the future of art education all over the world. How can we create more holistic institutions who actually take care of each individual in the institutions? This is also a question about development of democracy. How can we make a future that nurtures each and individual with a global mindset? So, of course, you should be rooted in your own culture, but you should have an open global mindset at the same time. And this is something each institution in the world will have to consider in the future.
So this is not about having less focus on the art form that you participate in. You still have to be a brilliant musician, a brilliant dancer, a brilliant actor. You have to learn all these skills and all these things that go with the trade. You have to add on another aspect, and that is the co-creation, the artistic, what do you call it, the citizenship, and all these things where you actually interact with the society that surrounds you. So it's not about doing something less, it's about doing something more.
But maybe we could also say that the holistic approach to working with art is there. I think Nepal and Kathmandu will be a perfect setting, because it's so obvious when you walk around in Kathmandu that the whole, culture in Nepal is based on a holistic approach to the human life. So this is what we could learn from Nepal and learn from being here. And I think it's very important to say that we could not do this Glomus camp somewhere else and get the same kind of learning for the students. This is very important that we go out and actually work in places like your wonderful country and city of Kathmandu.
I completely agree, and I would add that Nepal has a lesson to learn the rest of the world when it comes to coexistence.
Right.
There are so many ethnicities living together in a peaceful manner here with a lot of respect for each other. This is something that the world badly needs at the moment. So this is also something we are hoping the camp to be an eye-opener to all the participants.
Right.
So the theme of this camp has not been decided yet as such, but it's true that it will contain the whole idea of a holistic approach to art, to society, and to human development.
Thank you for being with us today and sharing with us your insights. It was wonderful having you here in the show.
Thank you for having us.
Stuti Sharma, Glomus Camp Coordinator 2024. We will be back next week with a new episode. Until then, hope you have a great week ahead. Namaste.